Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Laura and welcome to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so now. That way you don't miss out on my future videos. So from the title, you already know what this video is about. If you don't know who CARA MUND is, she is the reigning Miss America of 2018, and she is also from North Dakota, which is my home state. And recently she has come out to the press saying that she has been mistreated during her reign. And she just basically blew the whole lid off the corporation. And I want to read her letter, and then we will talk about it afterwards. So if this isn't something that you're into, then just go ahead and skip this video. But this is something that I feel very important about, and I want to discuss it. So I have the letter here, and I'm going to start reading it. And this is a letter that CARA wrote to her fellow reigning Miss America friends, you know, that I guess she knew or whatever. And I'll probably just post this up so you can read along with it. Dear Miss America sisters, I was extremely touched to receive the care package you sent to me in Orlando with your words of encouragement. It was so thoughtful and it arrived at exactly the time I needed it most. Thank you so much. I know there is a lot of talk right now about the interview I gave to the press of Atlantic City. Since my time as Miss America is growing short, I want to clear some things up directly with all of you. I apologize ahead of time for the length of this letter, but be assured that what I'm going to tell you is just the tip of the iceberg. The rhetoric about empowering women and openness and transparency is great. However, the reality is quite different. I am living that difference. To stay silent is to give away my power and the power of women who will follow me. I am not comfortable with any of us being controlled, manipulated, silenced, or bullied. I am also not blind to the relationships between manipulation and plausible deniability. By standing up for myself, I am standing up for all women who will follow me. At this point, my integrity and saying and doing the right thing means more to me than whatever punishment may await me. When I became Miss America, there were 3 things I truly looked forward to: using my voice, working on behalf of Make-A-Wish Foundation, and being an example of empowered young women of my generation. The reality, though, has been quite different. Let me be blunt. I strongly believe that my voice is not heard nor wanted by our current leadership, nor do they have any interest in knowing who I am and how my experience related to positioning the organization for the future. I truly felt more valued, respected, and viewed as a real collaborator within my first 3 months rather than these last 8 months. The difference in treatment are stark. Our chair and CEO have systematically silenced me, reduced me, marginalized me, and essentially erased me in my role as Miss America in subtle and not so subtle ways on a daily basis. After a while, the patterns have clearly emerged, and sheer accumulation of disrespect, passive-aggressive behavior, belittlement, and outright exclusion has taken a serious toll. Shortly after the new board took over, I was given 3 talking points that I was required to use at every appearance on which I would be critiqued. Miss America is relevant. The Me Too movement started with Miss America Gretchen Carlson. And Gretchen Carlson went to Stanford. I was also allowed to mention my own education at Brown University to show that we are both well-educated leaders. Right away, new leadership delivered an important message. There will only be one Miss America at a time, and she isn't me. To reinforce this, they told me that I am not important enough to do big interviews, and the major press is obviously reserved for Gretchen. Step out of line there, and not only do you get treated to being pulled into the office for a dressing down by Regina, but Brent Adams also joins in on the action. I was told that it is my fault sponsors have dropped MAO because I am supposedly bad at social media. These days, I can only post on my personal social media sites. I no longer have the ability to post freely and engage with the followers on the official Miss America account like all of my predecessors. Even when it comes to sponsors, I no longer have this ability. Last week, I posted at an event for CMN hospitals. A few days later, it was removed. In fact, they have now removed my photo from the official CMN fundraising page and replaced it with last year's Miss America. They post officially for me and as me, misspellings and all, without informing the public that it is not me posting, and often utilize these accounts to promote Gretchen and Regina's activities. When they shrink my voice in this way, it eliminates my chance to be a spokesperson for my generation on the very platforms where we consume our content. When Gretchen announced the elimination of the swimsuit on Good Morning America, I was also in New York, although I had already been told by Regina that GMA only wanted Gretchen on the segment. I served as my own advocate and asked if I could attend. Our CEO replied, "Oh, we thought you wanted to sleep in, but sure." That morning I stood behind the cameras and filmed Gretchen on the GMA set with my phone. Later that day, I passed a producer who recognized me, stopped me, and expressed dismay that she didn't even know I was in the studio. She then asked permission to interview me to get Miss America's perspective. I truly didn't know what to say to her. No one needs to remind me that being Miss America is my job. I have known that and prepared myself to be a spokesperson for this organization with every single thing I have done and every experience I have had, learning from each person I have met and each conversation I participated in. Such comments are condescending and are meant solely to suggest I don't understand this big girl job or how and why Miss America is relevant. This could not be further from the truth. Gretchen and Brent went to the Canaans representing the organization at a global marketing and advertising conference where Gretchen spoke about Miss America in the era of Me Too. While they were in France, I was back in North Dakota. If I had been invited to attend and speak about the relevance of Miss America, I would have been able to tell the world how I, as a young leader, have first-hand knowledge and experience regarding the ways in which MOA is supposedly poised for the future. Such an invitation would require our leadership to care who I am and maybe learn why judges selected me in the first place. An organization that values our employees takes the time to communicate with them. Prior to the July 25th Miss America orientation, Regina hadn't spoken to me since June 6th, and Gretchen hadn't spoken to me since June 15th. I wasn't even respected enough to be informed about the year's competition date when my job went in. I found it out on Twitter. Since many of you haven't had the opportunity to get to know me or have been told CARA doesn't want to work with you, which couldn't be further from the truth, here's a little bit more about me. I truly hope you'll agree that my voice could add value to MAO. I am the only person in the office with an all-encompassing business degree. I graduated with honors in business, entrepreneurship, and organizations with an emphasis in non-profit organizations. I feel qualified to comment on how a business should function and how employees should be treated. Did you know that I worked with Ashoka, the leading global organization on social impact, innovation, and integrations when I was in college? Did you know that I completed my senior honors thesis on Miss America organization? I went into this job with a strong background in the workings of the organization. I know its strengths and weaknesses and could have been a valuable resource during this transition. I have prepared for ups and downs and challenges, not just for this job, but for any job. My first full-time job was working in Washington, D.C. for Senator John Hoeven. That's a North Dakota senator, FYI. This experience brought me in touch with a wide range of constituents, witnessing their passion for legislations and policies that prospectively impact their lives. I was working for the senator during two major events of controversy: the 2016 election and the North Dakota Access Pipeline, DAPL. I know the importance of communication because I was listening and responding to all sides of the issues. From that job, I was inspired to continue being an advocate as Miss America. I did everything I could this year and take advantage of the opportunity. I even personally paid part of my airfare to attend the 2018 State of the Union because I wanted Miss America represented. Messaged in our leadership's new rhetoric is the importance of women making their own choices and using the universal language of fashion in ways that illustrate and empower them. Working in New York for a Gentry PR, a firm specializing in public relations for fashion industry, gave me a current lens through which to understand what my generation wants to wear and will wear and how fashion actually can speak about a woman. In this respect, reality hasn't just failed to live up to the potential, it has been truly disappointing. Throughout my year, MAO did not have a clothing sponsor. I spent all year buying my own appearance wardrobe. Most of what I bought was rejected, and I was told what I wasn't permitted to wear. What happened to the new model of Miss America getting to express her own sense of style? The office criticized me for wearing certain items too many times. I frequently had to take pictures of all of my outfits, and then my tour manager would come into my hotel room and pick out the clothes I was allowed to wear, saying things like, "Regina really likes this one," or "You can't wear pink, Regina hates pink." During a photo shoot this year, Regina looked at a Karl Lagerfeld dress I was wearing and said, "Yuck, you should burn that. Don't ever wear that again." I eventually reached out to two of the former Miss Americas on the board about some issues I had been facing. After Heather French Henry advocated for me, I was reprimanded by Regina, who told me that problems and concerns had to be kept in the family. If a fellow sister who is also a board member is not in the family, who is? I understand that I am a representative of a brand and a company and employed to do a job. That does not mean an employer can treat you however they feel like treating you that day. Employers are legally required to provide a workplace free from harassment and bullying. I have been constantly reminded of the provisions on my employment contract that prohibit me from speaking freely. The employee's relationship with the MAO may be terminated at any time for any reason. The employee agrees that the employee will not dispar or subvert the MAO, nor make any statement reflecting negatively on the MAO or its affiliates, principals, employees, agents, and representatives. During the term or at any time thereafter, employees shall not disparage or otherwise make any unfavorable statements, oral or written, or perform any act or omission which is detrimental to the reputation or goodwill of the MAO. For purpose of the prior sentence, MAO shall mean MAO, its successors and affiliates, and their officers, directors, and employees. I signed my contract shortly after I was crowned, without an attorney present or without a member of the staff or board there to witness it. When the new leadership came in, I hoped that they would loosen things up a bit, or at least make it consistent with the national contestant contract that I actually had time to review, and which states that I will serve until my successor is chosen at the next national finals. But that didn't happen. My contract still says, and I am regularly reminded by word and action, that I can be fired at any time, with or without cause. In Orlando, the contestants are interested in seeing the employment contract they will be required to sign, but the leadership will not give anyone a copy. Some ask me if they can see mine. I'm living the contradiction of being open and transparent. About 2 weeks ago, I started researching workplace bullying. The state of New Jersey is defined as deliberate insults, threats, demeaning comments, constant criticism, overbearing supervision, profane outbursts, blatant ostracism, being overworked, or simply not communicating with colleagues. More subtle forms of bullying can include withholding or supplying incorrect work-related information, sabotaging projects, passive and aggressive behavior, blocking promotions, providing unclear or contradictory instruction, or requesting unnecessary or menial work. Ultimately, this is my year in a nutshell. Here are some further examples of my time at orientation. Understand these types of things happen to me every single day. In Orlando, I watched as board members and staff sat up front for a meeting with the contestants and state directors, while I was told to go stand in the back of the room and not say anything. When Gretchen and Regina expressed their admiration for me, it was quite disingenuous given our lack of communication, how little they know about me, and especially their false claim that I have arrived at 2 a.m., when in fact I spent the entire prior evening with the teen contestants, attended the MAOT competition, and did my job as Miss America until the last person who wanted to meet with me and have their photo taken with me had left the room. The tour manager's flight was delayed, so for once I did not have her listening in on every conversation I had, reporting back to the office who I had talked to and what I say, nor was I smothered, at least briefly, with a ridiculous level of security charge with making sure people did not get a chance to speak with me one-on-one. There's also a concerning back channel among the staff and leadership of reporting false information about me. It paints me in a light that is untrue and definitely unfair. You will have to ask yourself what their motives are, because I have given up trying to understand this game. For instance, in Orlando, I was attending the Children's Miracle Network Hospital Dance Marathon. I was told by the tour manager to meet her at a certain time and place. I left my room to get to the appointed spot on time. When she was late, I checked my phone and saw 4 minutes before our scheduled meet time, she'd sent me another text changing the location. Before I could even answer her, I received a text meant for one of the security guards assigned to me, sent to me by mistake, where the tour manager claimed that I was MIA again. Reality did not fit this latest fake scenario, as I was not MIA. I never have been. I was exactly where I was supposed to be. On another night that week, I was excited to host a pizza party for the incoming class of amazing young women eager to learn about the job they were vying for. Contestants were ready for a frank and honest dialogue with me. That is also what I was promised. Instead, into the room walked the tour manager and 2 security guards, Mark, Angeli, and Regina, who promptly took their seats. You could feel the mood shift in the room. The message of intimidating me into silence, making sure I keep it in the family, was sent and received. As if that weren't enough, Regina intentionally belittled me in front of the contestants, seemingly forgetting my name and calling me Kira. Of the 5 MAO staff members in attendance, not a single one corrected her. In fact, the next morning, the tour manager pulled a Regina and identified my name incorrectly again. Several contestants came up to me after and said, "I can't believe they don't know your name." If I can be so openly belittled to the point where my actual personal identity is removed in front of the contestants, it can and will happen to them too. It was another low point for me. No Miss America should be humiliated or erased, ever. So I ask for you to do a favor. Just take a minute and reflect on how you might feel. I feel like I'm going to cry. Just take a minute and reflect on how you might feel had you held this title this past year. I never expected my year to be perfect, especially under the circumstances. Imagine what it would be like if you were alone, not knowing who you could trust. Imagine that you finally got up the courage to speak out, not just for yourself, but for the 51 women who are dreaming that they will have your job just a month from now. Imagine how it would feel if it was actually 2 of your fellow Miss Americans who slapped back in the press and threw you under the bus. What you said couldn't be true, right? It must just be that you misunderstood what it meant to have an adult job. I'll skip to the end. It was devastating. Do I not deserve a voice because my experience has been different from theirs? It didn't take me 6 months to see that my actions reflected on the organization. I understood that on day 1. Or that it is a job, and it is a difficult one at that. That's always been pretty obvious. I don't want to leave this mess for the next Miss America. This is not a self-serving organization, and I want her year to be better than my year. This letter is for her. I don't want her to have to live in constant fear, expecting to be degraded and punished while she should have been having an amazing experience. If you want Miss America to be relevant, then the leadership needs to understand she is not a wind-up toy who they can power up to spit out meaningless words that are put in her mouth and then put her back on the shelf until it's time to do it again. I do not want her to have to stand in the back, literally or metaphorically. As many of you know, the Press of Atlantic story posted on a Saturday. As I expected, the retribution was swift. Within 72 hours, I was told my final farewell on Miss America would be cut to a total of 30 seconds for the national telecast. The following day, I was told my custom, "Show Me Your Shoes" parade costume, which had already been made, publicized by the designer, and based on a July 2018 agreement with MAO, would no longer be allowed. How will we get sponsors if their word means nothing? Not only are they dictating my final appearance, but they are also reducing my final words. I haven't felt like Miss America for the last 8 months, and now they are even taking away my goodbye. I never expected or wanted to have to be a whistleblower. I am so saddened that the board seems inclined to look the other way than speak out. I ask you for your help, support, and voices, because I have no doubt that without them, the leadership will simply continue to push out, silence, and tighten security to reduce access around Miss America. Miss America is fragile right now. She needs all of us if she's going to survive. Cara. It's heartbreaking that a fellow woman is going through this, and not only is she going through this, but she's also getting it from people who used to be in her shoes that should know what it's like, and they're women themselves that are treating her this way, and it's just mind-blowing that that's where we are now. So that's the letter. It's going around Facebook, Instagram, all that. It's hashtag standwithcara. You know, if you feel strongly about this, that what she has been through is wrong, and I truly feel that she's not making this up, that this is her feelings, this is how she has been treated. And I feel that way because I feel that I have been treated that way in jobs where, you know, men and women have belittled me. I've been called into my superior's office where I've had another person sitting there degrading me, and my superior does nothing about it. And I've had where my superior has degraded me. I don't really want to get into that. I don't really want to say a lot about my experience because I still haven't decided if I want to speak out about it or not. I no longer work for that employer, and I'm still not sure what I want to do about my experience that I had with that employer. So I feel for Cara, I really do. And I hope this all gets worked out in favor for her, in favor for the future of the organization, any of the other women that are going to be, you know, reigning Miss America someday. May they not have to go through that and be belittled and be told to stand in the back of a room and not talk. And, you know, Cara is the first Miss America from North Dakota. The first one. So you know she worked off to get there, because North Dakota is usually just forgotten about. We're just usually brushed under the rug. We're usually the butt of everybody's like jokes about states and stuff like that. You know that she worked hard to get to where she was so that she would be noticed and people would take notice of what she was doing and her education and her background and the organizations that she works with. You know that she worked really hard to get there. I'm sorry if this wasn't the video that you were hoping for. This isn't your kind of thing. Hopefully you didn't watch it if you're not interested in it, because I'd hate to bore you. But I'm asking you to, and I'll put the link in the description down below, to share this information on your social medias and get it out there that this is what's going on. This is how women are still being treated at the end of 2018 with all this Me Too movement. And this Gretchen Carlson, she is trying to say that she is the one who started the Me Too, because she used to work for some CNN or something like that, where she like sued her superior who was like hitting on her or something. I don't really know her story, but frankly I don't care if that's how she treats other women. She thinks she's hierarchy because she started something, and now she can treat other women the way that she didn't want to be treated. And you know what? Maybe you don't agree with this. Fine, you don't have to have the same opinion I do, but since Cara is a fellow North Dakotan, and I am born and raised in North Dakota, she was born and raised in North Dakota, we stick together. That's all I can say about that. And I feel that she is being honest, and I feel that she has been hurt, and I'm very proud of her for speaking up. If this video and what's going on with Cara speaks to you in any way, I ask you to please share this on your social media accounts. Share it on Facebook, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram. The hashtag is hashtag standwithcara, C-A-R-A, not Kira, standwithcara. And yeah, just let her voice be heard. Just send it out there, and you know, do it for her, do it for you, do it for the future women that will hold this position. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope this spoke to you on some level, and I hope you're having a great day, night, weekend, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Bye, everybody.